Episode, we talked about something Chuck knows a lot about, and that's George Washington Danville. Eagles continuing to fly high, just got the win over Mecklenburg. Chuck talked about this year's GW team and much more on the Sports Buffet podcast. Chuck Vipperman, one of my favorite people to talk to, and he should be one of your favorite people to listen to as well. If you get to talk to Chuck during the day, wow, should you count yourself lucky as well.
You need to dial it back just a little bit there. But
I've always been told you really pump up the guests when you get them on. So, hey, before we talk about GW, I got a quick question for you. I know you were able to have Lee Vogler on game before last. How awesome was that?
That was wild, and I told him while I was talking to him, I said, this is surreal because, again, unfortunately, I have experience in my family with massive burns, and it's not good. Both of them, or all three of them, actually died of pneumonia because their body had no ability to fend off any disease. And when I heard, like a couple of days after he got in the hospital, that he contracted pneumonia, I was like, well, he's gone. I mean, I just, I just sort of, but here I am talking to him, and it's only not even 3 months later.
Right.
Man, that was wild. But it was good being able to see him a Friday night of this past weekend, too. I mean, I think I said the week before, who better to have on the Lee Vogler halftime show than Lee Vogler on the telephone, but it's better to have him in person, so here he is.
And obviously you can tell he's burned, but, I don't know what I was expecting. But when I saw him, like I think it was the next council meeting in Danville or whatnot.
He went to that council meeting just a few hours after he was released from UNC Chapel Hill.
It's almost like I was expecting him to look worse, if that makes sense in a nice way.
Oh, yeah, it most definitely does. I mean, like I said, I've got, unfortunately, experience with that. And, the appearance is a big thing, but he's very fortunate in that his face was intact, and he told me at one point he was bald, obviously, but he's got his hair growing back, and he's starting to grow a beard now, which I really praised him for last night. I'm very pro beard, and he's got a beard working now, so I told him congratulations on the beard.
Yeah, if I don't shave for like about a week, I can get it growing, but it curls. I know you kind of have or at least did have. You can grow it longer. I curl.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a tip for me?
That would. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't, and I don't know how to like fix it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's like.
I have no idea. I mean,
eat more carrots. I mean, I don't know.
We'll try the carrots, see if that works, I guess.
GW Danville's been eating carrots, spinach, and everything else. What's going right for the Eagles now?
Tell you what, it's the last couple of weeks. Again, we're playing the Piedmont District opponents who are not, really at the level of the first five non-district opponents we played, and we scheduled that purposefully because, again, I mean, not a lot you can do about the other teams in the Piedmont District, and it's not a strong football district, and you're only going to get so many points when you beat Piedmont District teams. So we purposely do that. But the last 3 weeks, the physical difference between GW and Bassett, Halifax, and Mecklenburg in that order have been apparent. This is just a ginormous GW team. This is the only bigger team I can think was in 1994. We finished state runner-up, but we were a big fat AAA school then. I mean, 2,000 students. I mean, we're almost half that size now, and they're big and they're athletic too. And we've been able to, with a couple of the big guys, move them off the offensive line and keep them on the defensive line. Really, three of them. Trevon Glass, a sophomore, Chris Law, a senior, and Don Reeves, a senior. They have been getting very limited snaps on offense simply because they're so doggone good on defense. And they have just been owning the line of scrimmage the past month.
And I think you're lucky if you can do that in high school football now, no matter the classification. Maybe 5 and 6 you can specialize, but it seems like, and we've talked about it before, you're not doing that.
It's a numbers game, and they do. Actually, I say that Chris and Turk have not played on offense in a couple of weeks now. Don will get a few snaps at tight end, which is good. He's the best blocking tight end in high school I've ever seen. I mean, he's just a beast. But yeah, when you can two platoon and keep them fresh, and you really see that difference in the fourth quarter. Lots of hands on the hips for the other guys, but GW is just physically got a very gifted team this year in terms of size and strength.
Not trying to knock Cabell at all from his previous regime at quarterback, but were you more concerned about replacing the IQ of Neo, or were you more concerned about the physical skills he had, or what?
The IQ. Neo was a very, very, still is, I assume, still a very smart young man. And he's just one of those young men that exudes leadership. He's very poised. He always seemed to be in control of himself, which is very unusual for a teenager. I mean, he had the poise and that whole vibe that emanated from him. And that's, a high school player. I mean, he was just a natural leader. He actually, athletically, he wasn't bad. I mean, he really picked up a step his senior year. But yeah, replacing that experience at quarterback, and again, there's no other sport that has a position quite as meaningful as quarterback to a football team. And Octavian Covington, it's been fun to watch him mature this year. You can see his footwork is a lot less panicky now in Week 8 than it was in Week 1. But he's settling in. And, of course, the best friend for a new quarterback is a strong running game, and we've been blessed to have that. Again, good, solid offensive line work has helped there. And that has been that's allowed Covington to evolve at his own pace, quite frankly. We haven't, of course, I say that in his first game is against Reedsville, in Reedsville, so that's going him to the Wolves. But ever since then, they've been able to. He's been able to progress every week, and he's a much better QB in Week 8 than he was in Week 1.
Obviously, we're doing this interview over phone, but we're both watching football as we do it. And I'll tell you what: is there anything that's harder than to tightrope a sideline?
I don't see how they do it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was, messing around in the backyard or whatever,
Right.
we would try to do toe taps, and I've got the coordination of a goat. So it was never very pretty. But yeah, I mean, I'm just continually amazed at these young men who can. Because they are going full speed too,
Right.
and they continue to do that. I mean, it's a gift.
And I need you to tightrope while holding something too, and don't drop it.
Yeah. While there is always the threat of somebody knocking you into next Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
a little something in the back of your mind.
Yeah, a lot of ways to go with that one. We talked about a strong running game, obviously, as a quarterback's best friend, and obviously a strong running game doesn't work without the offensive line. Is the defensive line just able to almost flip, even though you're not playing the same kids both ways? GW is just so big up front. That's why both lines work.
Yeah, the big thing is not only not only the big kids we have, but the number of them. Again,
Yep.
the five guys that we have starting on the offensive line. Law was a starter, and we started Glass off as well on the left side too. But because number one, they're just beasts on defense, and number two, we've got a couple of younger guys, 200 Javon Elliott and Embry Griffin, who've come along, and they're both 275, 290. And what a pleasant surprise! I mean, to have them get up to the point where we were able to put Turk and Law on defense really exclusively. Now, I get the feeling if come playoff time, we're going to try to get more than one side out of both of them, because again, they're very good on the offensive line too. But for right now, I mean, just keeping the cumulative number of snaps over the course of a season down to a minimum is hopefully going to pay dividends in Week 11 and beyond.
My big question is: do the playoffs start week 1 of the playoffs, or do they start with Magna Vista last week?
I tell you, it doesn't really start with Magna Vista because we'll have a Week 11 game no matter what. But boy, the schedule makers in the Piedmont knew what they were doing when they made that the Week 11 game. Magna Vista looks like they're Magna Vista. They got a quarterback running back combo, Moore and Dukes. I think both of them are probably in their early 30s. They've both been playing there forever. God knows, especially Dukes. He was a two-way starter as a freshman, and he's been a if I'm not mistaken, he's been Piedmont District Player of the Year on offense and defense at different times. I mean, he's just that good.
What does GW have to do to keep the boat rowing in the right direction?
Next week we got Tunstall, and again, matter of physics, quite frankly. Kirkland Brown does done a real good job of getting some excitement working around that program in Dry Fork. I really think he's a good young coach, and I think long term he's going to do really well because he's got that energy and he knows what it's all about. But in Dry Fork, the numbers are always going to be working against you. So, next week the Eagles, should have taken care of business there. Come Magna Vista, though, it's going to be a battle of wills. The odd thing about that rivalry is that I believe it is the last 6 years that the road team has won that game. It's weird. I mean, I can't remember. I think it was 2017, the last time the host team in that rivalry won the game. It's just unusual, but yeah, they're so good. I mean, again, we mentioned Simeon Moore at quarterback, Dukes at tailback, but they're big up front. They're very, very good. I know the transitive theory doesn't always apply in football or in any other sport for that matter, but if you look at the relative scores of the common opponents, it's about the same for both teams. And usually in a game like that, it's who makes the fewer mistakes is usually what it comes down to.